Okay, guys, I thought it would be beneficial to kind of review the weekly meal planner each week. But for the first week here, I just want to talk about the general philosophy of the meal planners I use. Now, typically, when I'm working with a client, I can really tailor it to their lifestyle, schedule, and needs a little bit more specifically than I can for you guys. The main point I want to drive across right out of the gate here is that this is a guide. It's not a strict menu for you guys to follow. However, I do try to make it general enough that it would be beneficial for everybody to follow. So with that, I'm going to kind of go through each day really quickly. One main cooking style and tactic that I try to use is cooking in big batch volumes. So if I'm going to make rice one night, I'm probably going to make enough rice for 3 different nights to utilize it in 3 different meals. The same goes for, broccoli or asparagus or roasted vegetables or roasted potatoes, even my proteins. I'm going to try to make way more than I need so I can utilize it for 1 or 2 more meals later down the week. This is going to help us save time because that's one of the main issues that most of my clients come to me with is that they want to eat more whole food based foods and less processed foods, which are typically more convenient for on the go type of eating. And so by cooking in batch and strategically planning out our menu to cross utilize some of this same product in multiple meals really helps us save time. Throughout the week, I'll try to post little tips and cooking tips rather and recipes that'll help supplement these weekly meal planners for you guys. But I wanted to jump through myself. I'll kind of add how I eat as well. Myself, I don't typically eat breakfast. So I'm usually not eating until closer to lunch. But for my clients that do eat breakfast, I'm recommending items such as an egg scramble. Keep in mind that all of these meal planners I'm going to post are whole food based, they're dairy free, they are gluten free, they're processed oil free. So these are basically, our culminating goal of what we're working on this challenge towards. We're not starting at this point, but the meal planners I'm going to post are based on that, based on kind of how we're going to eat for the final 2 weeks of the challenge. But I figured we'd start with this. So egg scrambles, typically I wouldn't throw any cheese or any dairy in my eggs, but I go vegetable heavy, and if I have leftover potatoes, I'll throw them in there. If I have leftover taco meat, steak, salmon, I always keep a big container of spinach or salad greens in the fridge, and I'll often throw a little handful of those in with my egg scramble. Another breakfast that is key is overnight oats, and this is one that you can make multiple batches of on Sunday night, and you have ready to go throughout the week. I am going to post my overnight oats flyer recipe that you guys can see that. Another beneficial or healthy breakfast would be yogurt and berries. And, if you have some sugar-free or homemade toasted oats and nuts, they would go well on there too. Now, when I go with yogurt, guys, we're definitely going to go unsweetened. And I'm doing dairy-free most of the time. So I go with a unsweetened organic coconut yogurt, some fresh berries in there. I'll top it with chia seeds. I'll make a homemade oatmeal or not oatmeal, toasted oats or granola with nuts that I'll put on top. And to me, that's a fantastic breakfast right there. The toasted homemade sugar-free granola, I'll post that as well. Now, so those are the 3 kind of breakfasts that I'll toggle through for most of my clients, depending on their style and what they eat. Now, for lunch, we're often doing leftovers or / a salad. Many people, if they're on the go, this is an easy one to eat without having to reheat it. So depending on what your situation is, if you're working at home, you might be able to utilize some of the leftovers and just reheat them, or you might be able to make an actual meal. But typically, This is where I'll keep my big container of spinach or greens that you can throw in a to-go container, top it with some tomatoes, peppers, olives, carrots, cucumbers. I'll use leftover roasted veggies, leftover proteins, avocado, I often do on there. We're going to talk a little bit more about salad dressings and which are the better choices for salad dressings. Myself personally, I don't use a salad dressing anymore. Typically, I'm just going to throw all these different elements on there. And to me, it tastes great without a dressing. Helps save calories, and it also helps save on some what could potentially be a burdensome food. Many of the commercial salad dressings are just chock full of ingredients we don't want to eat, guys. And so usually on Sunday, I'm trying to set myself up for the week. Again, you guys are going to have to tailor this menu to try to utilize some of the easier dinners I have, like a rotisserie chicken with broccoli and potatoes. Could be a quicker dinner, or sometimes I'll do rotisserie chicken with a salad, or just some frozen vegetables that I can cook quickly. You guys are going to have to say, hey, this is a night I have time to cook, and I can use one of these recipes that I have that take a little bit more time, like maybe the burger salad, lemon garlic chicken, or what's something we're going to be able to just do some frozen meatballs over leftover rice and frozen veggies. That is a time-saving type of meal. So getting back to the lunch, usually I'm just going to do leftovers and salad. When it comes to dinner, now is when we're going to kind of design our menu to try to serve up the next couple of days. Rotisserie chicken, usually I'll get sometimes I'll get 2 rotisserie chickens because I have the family at home too, and I'll strip all the meat off of the carcass in one night, the night I get it. And then I have leftover chicken for 2 or 3 meals after that. And then maybe I'm going to cook off a whole sheet tray of potatoes to go with that dinner that I can utilize later in some other meals. Same goes with broccoli. One meal I enjoy, I love burgers, but I'm not going to eat a bun and I'm not going to eat cheese when I eat my burgers. I'll do a bacon burger salad. Sometimes I'll cut out the bacon if I don't have time, but I love to cook a burger patty, put it over top a big plate of spinach, top it with some sauteed onions and mushrooms, some tomato, some avocado. Sometimes I'll throw a fried egg on there. Depends on what I have time for. I'll chop up some pickles, maybe some fresh onion, and then I'll drizzle it. If you want, you can drizzle it with a nice, healthier herb vinaigrette dressing, or no dressing. I go no dressing. Meatballs, sometimes I'll use this as a pinch. Now, when we get to our final elimination for the final 2 weeks, we're not going to be using frozen meatballs. I'll teach you guys some tricks to make your own, or like a meatloaf, which saves a lot of time. But in a pinch, I'll keep frozen meatballs around. The kids will eat them. And for me, it's not a perfect option, but it's a better option. I'll throw it over rice instead of pasta, and I'll do some roasted veggies. I'll drown the whole thing in marinara. And instead of cheese, nutritional yeast is a fantastic nutrient-dense product that has a nutty kind of cheesy flavor to it that'll add that element to your dish. Lemon garlic chicken. Again, this one I toss some different veggies, herbs, and spices in. You can just toss chicken with all of this, throw it on a sheet tray, and just cook it off all on one sheet tray to make it easy. Right here, I might utilize my leftover chicken and rice to do a quick fried rice. Again, for me, this is a quick meal here where I'm just going to take a bunch of leftovers, throw them in a pan, rice, shrimp, chicken, some veggies, hit it with a little bit of soy sauce, and maybe serve it with a side of kimchi if I have any. That's a nice probiotic rich food, which we'll get to in a later week. Burrito bowls are a standard. Now, typically, I'm going to do burrito bowls every Tuesday for Taco Tuesday. But for this first week, it's Cinco de Mayo, so I put the burrito bowl on Friday. By cutting out the tortilla, cutting out the cheese and the sour cream, you save a ton of calories and eliminate a lot of the inflammatory foods. Now, remember, guys, one main theme I want to keep here, like I said, usually I'm going to post this burrito bowl on every Tuesday. because we're trying to make it simple. This is a 6-week challenge that it's not a forever thing, but it's helping us build a foundation. So by doing some repeat items or something we're comfortable with and we know we like and we can cross utilize, it helps us build this foundation and get into a routine and build the habit of whole foods eating. So I just want to put that main philosophy out there with these meal planners. I'm going to give you guys a bunch of different options and ideas. That's what they're here for, is to serve as ideas and spark different thoughts for you guys. And they'll get a little bit more specific as we go along, but use them as a guide. Use them for ideas. Use them as a crutch. Down here on the below, I'll try to match a shopping list if you are going to follow this menu. I'll put in our focus for each week here and some ways we can remember to utilize the products here. And then for myself, I'm always going to keep some Amy's organic soups in the cupboard. I'm always going to keep some rice cups in the pantry that I could quickly microwave if I need to. I'm always going to keep some frozen veggies in my freezer. I always have a big thing of salad greens. Like I said, for me, it's almost always baby spinach. And this right here, you can throw together and cross-utilize for a quick 10-minute meal if you got crunched on time, if something unexpected happened. Canned tuna or salmon, and with frozen different options, canned beans, marinara, and green chili and salsa are often great condiments that don't have a lot of calories and pack a good amount of flavor to top different things with. Frozen chicken strips or frozen steak strips, almost always in my freezer as well. Like I said, I do keep frozen meatballs. They're not gluten-free and they're not processed food-free, so it's not a staple, but to me, it's a fallback option. One thing for me is, like, to me, I'll eat eggs at any time. They're not just a breakfast food for me. So they can be a quick meal. Eggs with leftover chicken or taco meat, a handful of spinach, some avocado, tomato, top it with salsa. All of a sudden, you got a nice meal for yourself. For eating out, I'll post different tips as I go along here. But for me, a key to eating out is always look ahead. If you know where you're going, I look at the menu online ahead of time to help myself plan what I might get, and do not be afraid to ask for substitutions or modifications to what you're getting when you go out to eat, guys. Again, I already mentioned the lunch thing. I didn't include snacks on this. I really try to limit my snack intake. But usually if I'm snacking on something, I stick to carrots, cucumbers, peppers, nuts. We don't want to go too heavy on nuts because they are very calorie dense, but they are a health food. Hand fruit, such as apples, oranges, pears, bananas. I keep some brown rice cakes that I'll spread a little almond butter on as a great snack. I use my smoothies that I'll post in a later week as a snack / half of a meal. If you can find a good hummus made with olive oil, or if you want to make your own, that's also a great snack to pair with some of these vegetables here. So those are some of the whole food based kind of fundamentals in our first weekly meal planner for you guys to use. Now, again, always hit me with questions throughout the week that you have when making stuff. I'll try to start to post different recipes and keys. I just figured that throwing it all at you guys at once wasn't the way to go. I want to try to kind of layer it so you can have time to absorb it, implement it, and then I'll keep adding more. All right. Good luck with this first week.